Whether it is the words that you let get to our ears, may it be your word that is heard, Lord. May it be your word that enters into us now, that begins to transform our hearts and lead us into a more faithful and discipling life. A life that helps us to not only grow closer to you ourselves, but a life that reaches out and helps others to come to know you. Lord, we ask that you do these things this morning in spite of me or through me. Amen. Well, we are now in our 6th week of the Sermon on the Mount. And we have been working our way through the Beatitudes. Some of you may remember them from the last couple weeks. We started with, "Blessed are the poor in spirit." Remember that? It kind of rings some bells, yes. Blessed are the poor in spirit. And then we went to, "Blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are the gentle. Blessed are those who seek and thirst after righteousness." And then last week, if all things had gone well, we would have gone through "Blessed are the merciful," but unfortunately, due to other things, we had to cancel. But we would have talked about "Blessed are the merciful." And now we are to "Blessed are those who are pure in heart, for they shall see God." As we've been talking about over the last couple weeks, all of these statements are really not statements of individuals separately. They're a statement of all of the qualities that make up disciples as a whole. And as I was thinking about this, "Blessed are the pure in heart," those who are pure in heart this week, I could not help but reflect and fall back on my previous occupation of a chemist. And as a chemist, I looked around the world and I was always trying to have two things. I wanted a pure product, and I wanted pure reactants to help me get to that pure product. And the thing that I learned about purity from chemistry is that there's really not a lot of it in this world. That purity is something that is very rare. And so that brought me back to this, "Blessed are those who are pure of heart." And I began to wonder, is it really something we can be here? Can we be pure of heart? I mean, even the best of us surely has been a person that's driving down the street and suddenly somebody cuts them off, and our thoughts may not be as pure in heart as we once hoped they were. Some of us may have had a friend, a loved one, a sibling that we were talking with, and they said something we didn't like, or they did something we didn't like, and maybe our purity of heart got a little tarnished and stained. Then I was reminded of John Wesley. And in particular, I was reminded of his third form of grace that he liked to talk about, and that was sanctifying and perfecting grace. And it made me begin to think about the fact that maybe we aren't pure in heart here, but maybe we are being purified in heart. That while we are here on earth, the world is going to tarnish us, it's going to stain us, and we're going to have temptations and thoughts that lead us astray, to keep us from being pure. But Jesus' blood and His grace help to clean that up and wash that away. And helps to purify us, refine us, and distill us. And bring us into that pure heart. And I thought about how this is really a lifelong process that we're all really perfecting. I mean, there's really only one person who has ever walked the earth that can claim that they're perfect. And I'm sure if I asked some of you who could tell me who that is. Anyone?
Jesus.
Yes, Jesus. There you go. You can even shout it louder than that because it's a pretty obvious answer. That Jesus is the only one who's ever got to be perfect on earth. But we are perfecting. We are growing in our purity of heart. And we are working towards that day where we will have been perfected by God and the Holy Spirit to that point that we will see God. That is His promise to us. A promise that He is delivering through His grace. And so each and every day, we should be perfecting, each and every moment, we should be working on perfecting and getting better at not allowing those inconsiderate drivers to upset us, or not allowing those hurtful words or conversations to cause us to retaliate back or to fall into that anger and malice. And instead, we learn each and every day how to love a little better, how to forgive a little more easily, and how to acknowledge that we are all really works in progress. Works that God is constantly recreating, constantly molding into His image. And so blessed are the pure in heart, because that is the goal that we are going toward. That is the moment that we get to stand before God there at His heavenly throne, and we get to see Him in all of His glory, having lived a life of moving toward that moment. Our pure of heart, our purity of heart, is a process. It is a process that we need to take seriously and engage in. A process of discipleship. A process of love. And I ask that you journey with me. That you would journey with me on this process and on this road. That you would commit to taking one step each and every day of growing closer to that place. That you would commit to helping to grow your own faith development through our Bible studies. That you would commit to worshiping God and being in His presence. That you would commit to praying. Not only for the things in your life, but praying for the people that we may not even know their names, but that are outside of these walls, maybe even outside of our current social networks, that need to experience God's love so desperately. I want you to commit to taking a step with me each and every day, to being just a little bit more pure, to being a little bit more refined, a little bit more distilled, that your heart may more fully reflect Jesus Christ, and that we may see Him in each other, and that the world may see Him in us. Amen.